Deploying the military, security move or political firestarter? In the heart of America's enduring democratic experiment, a federal courtroom in San Francisco now finds itself at the crossroads of civil liberties, constitutional authority, and political power. On Tuesday, the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals will hear arguments over former President Donald Trump's decision to deploy thousands of National Guard troops and U.S. Marines to Los Angeles during a wave of civil unrest, despite opposition from California's elected leadership. The move, taken in the wake of protests over immigration raids and perceived federal overreach, reignited long-standing tensions between states' rights and federal authority. At the time, California Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat, opposed the deployment. Still, Trump, citing the need to maintain order, sent 4,000 National Guard members and later 700 Marines into the city. The lower court, led by U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer, ruled last Thursday that the president had overstepped his legal bounds, calling the seizure of California's National Guard unlawful and the justification for doing so deeply concerning. Breyer emphasized that peaceful protest, even if widespread and intense, falls well within the scope of First Amendment protections, not grounds for martial intervention. Now, a three-judge panel, two appointed by Trump, one by President Biden, will determine whether that ruling stands or is overturned. Beyond the courtroom, the heart of a nation at question, at stake is more than a legal technicality. The case forces us to confront a deeper question: can protest in a democracy be mistaken, or portrayed, as rebellion? And if so, what prevents a leader from using military force not to protect democracy, but to intimidate dissent? Some legal scholars argue that Trump's actions set a dangerous precedent for executive overreach. Others suggest the former president was operating within a legal gray area, invoking an antiquated federal statute that allows troop deployments in times of insurrection. But this is where the unease grows. When definitions of insurrection become elastic, so too does the protection of civil liberties. The fear expressed by Judge Breyer, that peaceful demonstrations might be rebranded as threats, echoes the experience of many Americans who have taken to the streets not to destroy, but to demand accountability. Political intent matters. So does timing. The deployment coincided not only with protests but also with Trump's 79th birthday, and a military parade marking the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Armed Forces, raising eyebrows about whether the troops' presence was more symbolic than necessary. Can a president be checked? Trump's legal team insists the president alone has the authority to decide when and where troops are necessary. The implication? Governors, judges, even the Constitution's separation of powers, may have limited say when a president sees threats to national stability, and this is precisely what frightens civil rights advocates. Because when the executive branch claims unchecked power to define threats, it begins to blur the line between governance and authoritarianism. As protests spread to other parts of the country, including the tragic killing of a Democratic lawmaker in Minnesota, the stakes of this case only grow. The question is no longer just about Los Angeles. It is about every American city that could one day see military boots on its streets, not to defend from foreign foes, but from its own citizens. Whether intentional or not, decisions made in moments of unrest echo long after the smoke clears. And in a democracy, the power to call in the troops must always answer to something greater than politics, the rule of law, and the will of the people.